Hey y'all, hey. Welcome back to Thugging It Out. Thugging It Out is a platform where we create a safe space to acknowledge, experience, and overcome real life issues in a positive and healthy way. Before we hop into this week's episode, make sure you're following us on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. Follow us on Instagram at _Thugging It Out _, as well as subscribe to the Thugging It Out podcast on YouTube. And as always, tell a friend and tell a friend. So let's hop right on in. Happy Wednesday. The solar eclipse was Monday, and for some of you guys, I hope it's not none of my people's, but some thought that Monday was going to be the mark of the end of all life, that we were gonna see Jesus and that the grass was going to go down and it was going to be the start of an apocalypse. I'm sad to report that none of that happened. It was just noise, and that we were able to see a little crescent moon down here in Memphis. And yeah, we're moving on with our lives. So I hope you guys took that as a wake-up call for a lot. I really hope that all the noise and all the panic that we saw on social media was kind of like a reality check. I feel like it was something that a lot of us needed, because despite our own intelligence, despite all of our own knowledge and things that we truly know, sometimes we do get sucked into the internet and we believe what somebody might tell us just because they might sound convincing, just because they have all these titles, and just because a million other people saw their video, so it has to be true. I really hope that we could get back to actually looking and searching for the facts and just sticking to the facts and not just with popularity. Because with that type of standard, I don't know what we're going to do. But I can say that after all the fearmonger that was all across my algorithm, which I really need to just check that with myself, I really hope that, it was just a reality check for a lot of people, like a wake-up call, like, okay, maybe I am too invested with all the conspiracy theories, even though I am a person that love a good old conspiracy as well. But I feel like it has to have some type of belief to it. Like, simply the whole idea of April 8th was going to be Judgment Day, I just feel like that had to be nonsense. Like, if you're a real believer and you have read the Bible or even went to church, you know the whole standard of no one knows the time or the place. So for you to just hear all these people saying, like, that's the day, y'all better get ready, it's like, come on now. Or on the other side, when people like, y'all better do all this extra stuff so y'all can get y'all superpowers. And it's like, I could take that as a joke, but we need to learn how to be people that can decipher the real from the fake. And it's even more scary when we think about AI starting to get in the mix, because it's definitely going to blur the lines. It has a lot of good, but it has a lot of concerns for myself and for just society in general. But that's not the topic of this episode. I just had to, I feel like we had to touch on that, because I'm not gonna lie, Monday was so irritating for me as like for the internet. The internet was so irritating on Monday, and I'm just happy that it's over and now we could be like, okay, what's next? But in the meantime, between time, your girl, I'm still kind of sort of in my funk. And it's not necessarily like a bad funk. It's one of those things where I just don't know. Like, it's truly the phase of like a question mark. And I'm kind of a little frustrated, which I know I have to give myself grace. And I hope you guys give yourself grace as well. But it's a little frustrating to like have goals and to have a plan and to have all these intentions of doing certain things, and you just don't have any energy, no desire, no to actually check off the boxes to actually do the things that you want to do. And I know for certain that I'm not the only one that has these moments. And that's why we're going to talk about the plague of laziness. Like, I feel like laziness has just been in the air. It's been spewing out all this negative energy, and it's been attaching to not just me, but to a lot of us. And with the plague, I feel like it's one of those things it's a double-edged sword. It's like some things can be bad about it, but some things can actually be good about it. And when I speak on laziness, I know that everyone could be like, that's a you problem or that's a them problem, because it's not, that's a choice to be lazy. But I do think that sometimes life in the universe has a way of just kind of beating you down to the point where you just be like, okay, I don't even have the desire to do it. And when that happens, y'all, that is the sign that you need to push through the most. And that is something that I'm battling with myself, But I don't know. Like I told y'all, ever since Corona came around and knocked me off my square, I have not been the same. But also, I feel like that's just an excuse, and I'm going to stop saying that, because even when I just said it, like, girl, bye, that's an excuse. And I hope you guys said the same thing, like, girl, bye, that is an excuse. And be like, you ain't holding yourself accountable. And I feel like that's the first step with combating laziness, is the accountability. Like, the first step of the 12 step is to acknowledge that you got a problem. And right here, right now, I'm going to say, your girl Kenya B is struggling with laziness. Like, I don't know. It's like I just cannot shake the spirit. It's something that's been kind of weighing on me. It's been weighing me down. And it's to the point where I just want to do the bare minimum. Like, I cannot wait to get into the bed. I dread getting out of the bed. And I know sometimes we put labels on it. And I'm recognizing that we need to start being more selective with the words, because I'm not going to lie, a few years from now, or even maybe a few months from now, I would say that, I'm just feeling depressed. Like, it's a depressed feeling, which that can be true. However, we all must learn how to shift the perspective and start putting better labels and better perspectives on things, so that when we honestly get to the nitty gritty of it, it's not something that's taking power away, but it's something that we can use to build us up, in so many words. Like, for instance, let me explain. When we say, I'm depressed, even though that might be the actual feelings that you use, you might be clinically depressed, it might actually be depression. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm saying that maybe if we start changing our perspective on it, that will kind of give us our power back. So instead of saying, yeah, I'm depressed, you say, yeah, I had a rough few days. Or yes, I'm having a rough week. I might have had a rough month. And I'm working on some things, and it's just taking me a little longer to figure it out. And my thing, it can very much so seem like a little depression. Like, it's crazy because I was at work today and I just felt like I did not want to be there. It was just like one of those, you should like, I'm so tired of the fake smiles. I'm tired of the small talk. I really just wish that I could just go home. Like, that was legit the thing. And it kind of almost brought me to tears. And it wasn't that I hate my job, because I actually do love my job. But it's just one of those moments where it's like, this is not giving what it's supposed to give. And I'm not necessarily just enjoying the fact that I'm coming to an establishment and wasting my time, when honestly, I have no work to do and I could really be at home doing something else while still getting my money. It's so many words. And I was in a bathroom and I was, getting myself together in my head. I was like, nope, we're not even going to put that on you. And I feel like with us, with people in general, we got to stop putting things on us and just learn how to take the moment for what it is and not letting the negative connotations attached to us. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm starting to kind of shift my perspective on depression. And this is coming from a person that has battled with depression a lot. I have been watching a lot of podcasts. I've been reading a lot of articles and I've been reading a lot of books. And I'm recognizing that we are more powerful than depression. And I know depression can kill you, and I know how it is when you're in the thick of it. However, I'm saying that your mind is stronger, you are stronger, and God is stronger. And we have to start relying on the powers that be's to fix our situation instead of just surrendering. And I feel like a lot of times when we get so caught up in like depression and anxiety and addictions, we kind of just surrender. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not no weak ass bitch. Excuse my French. And I know we are not a weak people. We're stronger than that. So we need to learn how to feel things and to go through certain seasons without succumbing to the circumstances. And that all goes with laziness as well. I'm not going to lie. I have been genuinely lazy and I have been doing a bare minimum. I wholeheartedly know that. I know I've been slacking as far as with school. I've been slacking as a mom. I'm just going to be 100% accountable and just honest. I've been slacking as a wife. I've been slacking as an employee. I've been slacking as down in every aspect of my life. Like, I have truly been coasting on the bare minimum. And it hasn't been for long. It has been maybe like a month. And this is the part where you have to hold yourself accountable. Like I'm holding myself accountable. Yes, laziness happening. We get these moments. We have these seasons where we just seem like we can't do it. But it comes a time within that season, in that moment, that you have to take your power back. And you have to say, no, I'm not going to succumb to my laziness. And it's even to the point whereas I've been reading my Bible, I've been in scripture, and it's crazy because last night as I was praying, I was just like, it seems as if God has I'm not going to say abandoned me, but God has kind of been like, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not, like, I'm here. Like, I feel your presence, but God is like, no, I'm not doing this with you until you do what you have to do. And it's crazy because earlier when I was at work, that was a conversation I had in my prayers last night. When I was at work, I was listening to this video, and it's crazy because I'm just scrolling. It just randomly came on, and it was just like, when in your journey, in your spiritual journey, when you feel as if God is nowhere near you, it's because you have gotten lazy. You have gotten lazy in your prayers. You have gotten lazy in your readings, and you have gotten lazy in a relationship. Whereas the only way to hear him and to get back in his presence, you have to knock off the spirit of laziness. And it clicked. And it's just like, man, oh man, oh man. Okay, God, I hear you. And this is why today I want to stress to y'all. Get out of the laziness. Stop letting laziness win. And it's even to the point where I feel like the real reason why none of us are really reaping the benefits of all our hard work and why we're kind of just coasting in the just enough is because we haven't gotten out of the chains of laziness. Like, we have gotten to a place in this world, in our lives, just everyone in general, in society, where we allow our flesh to rule us. We allow our bodies to decide what we're going to do. For instance, you know that you're supposed to work out every day, at least 30 minutes. But we will allow our bodies to be like, man, I don't feel like it. And we won't work out. And it's like, but your mind know, and you know what you're supposed to do, but you're going to allow your body to tell you what to do. And it's the same thing with eating. Like, if you know, you say you're going to be on this diet and you're going to walk away from that type of food, we let the cravings, oh, I'm craving it, so I'm going to give in to it. And that happens on every level of our lives. It could be with relationships. It could be with friendships. It can be with work. It could be with business. It can be in every level of our lives where we let our bodies dictate what we want to do, what the plans that we have, the places that we want to go. We allow our bodies to dictate it, where I'm going to let you know now that the cheat code is because you're lazy. You're not man enough, you're not woman enough to stand up to your body and say, regardless of how you might feel, we're doing this. Yes, it will be hard. Yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, it might hurt. But we're going to do this because I know in my mind and I know in my heart that this is what I need to do to get to the next level. So stop being lazy. Get up. If you say you want to get on the schedule, do the schedule. When the alarm go off, get up. When you see that the clock is 9 o'clock, go to bed. When you say I'm only going to be on social media this amount of time, set a timer. And once it goes off, don't give yourself 5 more minutes. And I don't mean to sound like I'm yelling or preaching at y'all, but I feel as if we have the potential to really be better people. We have potential to really achieve our dreams. We have the potential to grow and become people who we always were meant to be. We just have to get out of our own way and stop being lazy. And sometimes it can be fear, because I do feel as some of us have the spirit of self-sabotage on us. Well, we kind of afraid of the potential that we have. So we kind of self-sabotage. I know I suffer from it too sometimes too. We do that. And we can sometimes let fear come into the mix where that self-doubt start manifesting, and we get to questioning who and what and where we supposed to be going instead of just doing it. But I really think the real culprit behind it all is laziness. We get comfortable in the mix of it. And comfortability is just comfort. It's comfort that keeps you in the same place forever. And I'm just going to be real here. Ain't no aspect of life, ain't no aspect of becoming great and successful going to be comfortable. Because everyone that is successful, all of our idols, all of our role models, all of the people who made it, they had to be uncomfortable. And they had to learn how to thrive with the uncomfortability. And I know it's easier said than done. I know it's hard. And I know it's going to be times where you want to quit, where you feel as if it's not worth it, where you just be like, you know what, I'll just stay here. But let me remind you, you can't stay here. Here is not where you're meant to be. You're supposed to be over there. And it's so funny because when I was in the shower, I was, thinking about this episode and kind of planning the framework in my head, of course. But, and for some reason, I always go back to the Bible because the Bible is one of my favorite books right now. But, all the characters in the Bible, we know about all the greats. You know about Moses. We hear about him all the time. We hear about David. We hear about, who else do we hear about? We hear Joshua. We hear Aaron. We hear Paul, Matthew, Luke. We hear about all these, all these people that has all these big stories. And they are the ones whose stories are actually in the Bible. However, can you only imagine how many people God has came across that they were just too lazy to do it? Like, let me just paint a picture for you. With Moses, for instance. Moses is just like everybody else. And I know, y'all know, it's like, dang, I'm taking y'all to Bible school. Here we go. I'm only going to do Moses. I ain't going to, go down this rabbit hole. But let's just think about Moses. Moses was chosen to be the one to go against Pharaoh. And he had a lot of tasks. God really basically made him rise to the occasion. And Moses did not want to do it, but God forced him to do it. But just imagine how many people God probably came across before he came to Moses. But some of us were so stubborn, because we all have free will, that it had to take Moses to do it. And I know you guys might be like, well, everything is divinely made. Yes, it is. But we also have free will. Throughout the Bible, throughout life, throughout anything, God comes to everyone. But it's up to you to receive it. It's up to you to follow the directions. It's up to you to rise to the occasion. It's up to you to do the work. It's up to you to get up, get off your ass, get off the couch. It's up to you. And yes, Moses' story was always for Moses. But what about your story? What about who you're supposed to be? And I am certain that God definitely did not plan a life of lack for you. God did not plan for you to be mediocre. He did not plan for you to be lazy. He did not plan for you to be an addict. He did not plan for you to be a bum, for you to be poor. Those are all choices. And all those choices all have the underlying factor of laziness. So do not succumb to it. Learn how to fight off the laziness, fight off the temptation, get through the hurt, get through the pain, do the work, and reap the benefits of it. And I know I always get to preaching on y'all, I always got to take y'all to church, but just think about it. Or just, for my people that's not all the way there, just imagine like with Steve Jobs, for instance, the creator of Apple. In one of my classes, we're talking about Steve Jobs, but he was a person that thought completely different than regular CEOs. He had a different mindset. His theory was bringing everyone together in one room, taking things from, all these different people and coming up with the best case scenario. And what he was doing took a lot of work. It took him to build relationships with a lot of different people. It took him to get into a lot of different rooms. It took him to learn how to combine all that information into one. And other people couldn't do it. Other people didn't want to do it. So with that being said, he's the one that reaped the benefits. He's the one that became Steve Jobs because he was willing to do the work. While other CEOs like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to depend on my people to do it. Steve Jobs like, no, I'm going to get in the field and I'm going to go talk to the materials person. I'm going to talk to the tech person. I'm going to talk to these people. I'm going to put them all in the room and we're going to come up with ideas together collectively versus other CEOs are just like, nah, I paid y'all to do it. Y'all do it. It's just so simple. You can either be lazy and just think that stuff is going to fall into your lap or that people and everything will fall into your good, or you will do the work. You will get your hands dirty. You will get in the field. You will get up. You will get active. You will start the journey. You will start taking the steps to become a Steve Jobs, to be a Moses, to be who else. I can't think of anybody successful right off the top of my head, but to become that person. I promise you, do not let laziness win. It's in all of us. Your girl is currently fighting it. And I'm at the point now where I'm just like, you know what? I can't let it win. Get back. Give yourself grace. Don't beat yourself up. Just start over. Start from here. We ain't going to talk about what we should have been or what we could have did or how I supposed to do it and maybe I shouldn't do this. We're just going to start over. And guess what? If I can't if I can't do it all, then guess what? I will start over again. So don't just think that, oh, I'm not going to be lazy tomorrow, because you just might be. You might need some, a little time to get unlazy. I know I do. I know I have a little time before I stop just allowing stress to be the end all be all for me, because I'm not going to lie. Life has been a little bit more stressful in the evenings from work, from school, from kids, where I have no time to myself. I don't have no time to think. And in all honesty, I would rather lay down, read my book, eat my little cake, instead of working out, instead of actually doing work that other work that I need to do. But I'm just not there yet, based off the fact that I'm going through my own journey. And every day I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to do it. If I can't, I'm going to start over and we're going to do it all again tomorrow. So don't never think that I'm sitting like, y'all got to stop being lazy fuckers. No, I mean, you do. But give yourself grace. It might just be the season where you need to rest. And also shift the perspective, because laziness could not necessarily be laziness. Some of us actually do need time to step away to prioritize self-care. Maybe that's the season you're in. But I know one thing else, self-care requires work, and self-care is not just you laying in the bed all day. That is not self-care. So don't get it twisted. Everything worth having requires work. And that's what I'm going to leave y'all with today. Anything that's worth having requires work. If you sit there and think about the vegetables you eat, in order for you to get the vegetables, you have to plant the seed, you have to water it, you have to pick it, you have to clean it. It's a lot of process that in order for you to get the vegetables, in order for you to get healthy meat. The cattle has to be taken care of properly. It has to be slaughtered. It has to be clean. For you to get a job, you have to get up and go to work and to get the paycheck. So anything worth having requires work. So don't ever get in your mind that anything and everything will come easy. Stuff do come easy to some, but that's not the norm. And even with it come easy, it might just not take as much effort. But regardless of what, you have to put in work. So nothing worth having comes without work. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. So stop being lazy, you guys. Get rid of the plague of laziness. Let's rebuke that spirit. Let's get it off of us. And let's start anew tomorrow. I want you guys to have a great rest of your week. I want you to remember to be grateful, be blessed, be thankful, but most importantly, keep thugging it out. Peace.